Let's see here.
Oh,
I think I see something starting.
yeah, come on,
Hmm.
come on.
Uh, yeah, I do. I see something starting,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna come out of that page that I was looking at to do upside down curl in a buck 35 like it was water.
like it was water. Shouts
And
out to Eddie Butler for being an ox. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I
Yeah,
ain't no slouch, but I don't upside down curl a buck 35 like
yeah,
this.
nah, not like that. Nope.
I take a little extra work, more work than just that.
I struggle with half of that. Let me just keep it 100 with you.
But a buck 35 upside down curls, and he just there.
Like nothing.
Okay, hey, hey, Frenchie, how you doing? Look at Nikki Davis. Hello.
Come on, come on, come on.
Yeah, mommy need a break. Preston Walker, what's up, B? That's my man.
Oh, that's my dude.
Yeah,
Rochester, New York in the building.
yeah. Did you know I was born there, Quest? I ever tell you that?
Nah.
Yeah, we came to the city when I was 3.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, so I went to school with Press in high school for for 1 year,
Yeah.
but I knew his mom's like Sister Lamb for like ever.
Yeah.
Like,
My aunt was up there for a while. And I think she taught one of the classes he was in at school.
oh, understood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me oops, maximize the screen. I have Quest in like massive form on my screen. Kings County Hospital. How you
Oh,
gonna be from YO and be born in Brooklyn? How that happen?
come on.
Maybe I'm
Come
mixed
on.
up.
Come
That's
on. Kings
I'm
County in the
mixed up,
building. What's
YO.
that? That's like Clarkson. I know that's in Flatbush. I know Kings County is right off of Kingston, Clarkson, over there by Wingate High. Yeah, it's
Wingate. Oh boy.
Schenectady runs right into it. Yep.
Yo,
Yep.
we had graduation for 8th grade at Wingate. Guess what happened to my uncle's car?
Come on. All
It
right.
disappeared. It disappeared, and he didn't have the keys in the ignition. It just broad daylight. B. We talking about Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, and the car got stolen at Wingate
That's bananas.
from Wingate. Them days was different, man.
Oh yeah, different days. The
80
days of
what? Was it
Decepticons and
86? Deceps.
oh
Yo,
come
okay. Let me tell you a story before right real quick, right? So I was a barber in DC for a long time, right?
on.
Or DC area, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so of course at the time I mean we talking about 92.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had to earn my stripes in the hood
Yeah.
and among the hood people because I'm a New Yorker, right? And I'm in
Absolutely.
like the arch nemesis at the time. So I'm telling stories about Deceptinets. And
Yeah.
they were like, whatever, dog.
Yeah.
Y'all New York dudes be lying. And would you know, like a couple years later, they did a front page feature in Essence about the Decept. Because I would tell them like they would have the Gucci totes, but it wasn't Gucci. Gucci totes with Black and Decker hammers and blah blah blah. I tell them the story, and they like y'all dudes from New York always lying, man. And I'm like, all right. And then when the Essence came out, can you imagine? It's a terrible story, but I felt vindicated because I was like, see that, see that right in the
Yeah.
magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, those weren't the days.
Those weren't the days.
Yeah, you didn't want to be on the A train or
Yeah.
any one of the trains, and the lights go out, and you see dudes coming on with garbage bags. I mean, what they? I
Oh,
mean, doing pull ups on the rack and doing all kind of unmentionable stuff to
yeah.
people while they trying to just ride the train and go where they going, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway,
That's it.
I got it out my blood, man. I'm good.
Good. All right, let me post these last, and then we are good to go, brother.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
are good to go.
What happened to my pencil? Oh, there it is. We good.
Yeah, we are good to go. We are good to go. Let's see. Oh, it's gonna be a good one today, y'all. It's definitely gonna be a good one today.
You think?
Yeah. But you didn't give them the what we do. We behind the scenes. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
because we behind. So I
Okay.
was just feeling. Yeah.
Oh well, sure. Let's get it.
Well,
Let's get it
all
going.
right.
Then. Let's.
So yeah. So those of you who are joining us for the very first time,
I love it. I love it.
my name is L. David Harris, and this is my friend.
Yep.
He's my man, my mellow.
Yep. My mellow,
New
my man.
Questament.
Yes, indeed.
Quest Green.
Yes, indeed.
And so we're allowing you in to the background, the behind the scenes of our broadcast of the Marriage Ain't for Suckers program. And in just a little while, we'll sound like we know what we're talking about. And it's at that time and no time before that we will be LIVE for the world besides you watching us to see and hear. I mean, to hear.
Yes, live and direct.
Yeah, live on iHeartRadio, tune in, and then the aggregators will pick them up when we're done.
Yeah.
And you'll get your alert on iTunes, Google Play, and all the rest of them.
And all the rest of them.
All right, you tell me when to go, and now get to going.
Yeah, let me just shout out the love of my life real quick because she just stepped into the room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My cup of sugar. Yeah. Anyway, let's get it cracking.
Yeah, I ask you this question all the time, but I don't know if I get a satisfactory answer. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, why is it always food? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. What else is there that's sweet that I could, my cool breeze? You know what I'm saying?
I'm just curious. I'm not trying to change your paradigm. I'm just trying to understand. Is there something behind it? Like, do I need to know? Like,
no. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's that what other way can I, you know what I'm saying? My cool breeze on a hot day. You know what I'm saying? My Negril, my Montego Bay, my Ocho Rios, my, you know what I'm saying? My tropical waters, my, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, understand.
My Duns River, my, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a million ways we could go. You know what I'm saying?
Do your thing. Good. All right. So I guess I'll go ahead and hit that live. You ready?
Before you hit that live, Father, I'm just asking in a special way that as we have our viewers watching today, that you would allow us to say something that will allow somebody in marriage to look at marriage differently. And if they're moving in a counterproductive direction, that you would allow us to say something today that would positively affect their lives, that they would get their marriage and relationship back on track. Or if they're heading towards a relationship that's not conducive to what you want in terms of your will for their lives, that you would allow them to see it and make a different decision. For these and other mercies, we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get it. Quiet on the set with your Avian or whatever you're drinking.
Me pure aqua.
Okay, I'm about to get off the rails. Let me just stop. Oh, quiet on the set. Hey, yo, Quest, it's time to give the people something, man. What are we talking about today?
What up? Welcome to another edition of the Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast. I am your host with the most, Quest, alongside my man, my man, L. David Harris. Give him a hand.
Get on the mic.
And MC.
Yo, what it is?
Man, I can't complain, man.
It wouldn't help anyway, man.
Nah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, man. Guess what, though?
Yep.
Class is in the session.
Yep. If you wasn't ready, you better get ready now.
Get it now.
Yes, indeed, man. So you were talking about a while ago, you know what I'm saying? How when I'm talking about my wife, I usually refer to food. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Nicole Davis as she's in the chat room. And she said, I think people relate to food more than anything else, I guess. And shouts out to Foundation because I'm not missing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's better than what I would say because don't ask me them kind of questions unless we reread this joint.
Please don't put, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't. Yes, indeed. Like I said, y'all, welcome to another edition of the Marriage for SuckaZ podcast. So yeah, man, D, what is looking like on the Jamaica side, man?
Yo, life is life, man. You know, we got the good, we got the bad, but I'd rather have the good and the bad here than anywhere else at this moment in
I
time.
know that's right.
Good.
I know that's right. It's a lot going on in the world. If you in Hawaii, my prayers are going out to them, man, because yo, D, they are experiencing a lot. I mean, you know, Daddy talks about it. You know what I'm saying? In diverse places, craziness just happening. And the volcanoes, I mean, and it's been a minute since they've seen any volcano eruptions, and they coming out the woodwork, bruh. And lava is just causing destruction and mayhem. So all my prayers, man, goes out to everybody in Hawaii.
Listen, man, I learned something new. Like I'm into New Zealand heavy, but I have concerns about what you just said, volcanoes, right?
Yep.
But I didn't realize like the joint that popped in Hawaii went untraveled underground for 35 miles and then bust. Like I didn't even think about, I always thought it was just like the mountain that would bust, but I had no idea. Like I don't even understand it. So like you say, man, Lord bless those folks in Hawaii right now. Hawaii right now.
Bless them, bless them, bless them, bless them. So yeah, man, things are lovely on this side of the fence as well. You know what I'm saying? Shots out. I see y'all, man. I see y'all doing the weekly, you know what I'm saying, without Josiah, the trips to the beach. And don't worry.
You know.
Yep. At the end of February next year, we will be there. We're going to have to do the, you know what I'm saying, the couples thing out on the beach. Because when we come next year, unfortunately, the kids won't be coming. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, they won't be coming. I see y'all doing the thing up there on the beach. And don't worry, we'll be there at the end of February next year. And if y'all don't know, y'all better ask somebody next year at the end of February. The dates escape me right now, but I'll have them concrete for you by the next podcast episode. Phenomenal Life, Jamaica. I'm just going to put it out there. 2019, Phenomenal Life, Jamaica. You need to be there. If you need more information on that, you need to go to etinspires.com or breatheuniversity.com and you'll find out more info. But I'm telling y'all, it's going to be a trip unlike no other.
It took a boss.
The place took a boss. So, yo, if you are not in the building next year and you want to be a part of what's going down, go to one of those two places. Matter of fact, I'll just take the opportunity right now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. You know what I'm saying? For more information on Phenomenal Life Jamaica 2019, you want to be in the building. Montego Bay at the Iberostar Hotel and Resort. I'm just telling you, you want to be there next year. It will take place at the end of February. And for more information, you indeed need to go by. I'm telling y'all, come and join a family of learners and learning. If you want a personal development, I don't care what you're trying to do. We got it for you. Go by and get more information. etinspires.com or breatheuniversity.com. Like I said, and if you want to be a part of that event that's going on next year, stop by.
Let's go.
Get the information and we'll see you there.
Word.
Yes, indeed. But man, let me do this real quick, D, because I know we want to get into our topic because our topic is a hot one. I'm going to ask all of our listeners, if you haven't already, you know what I'm saying, do two things for me. If you feel that the information that we provide you on this podcast is some dope information, do me a favor. Run and tell a friend, share it with a friend, share it with somebody who you know. Can you, whether you're single, you're married, you know what I'm saying, you're trying to get that good information that'll either move you towards making a good decision on a lifelong partner, or you're trying to move your marriage from shaky to good, from good to great, or from great to phenomenal. Share the information with a friend in terms of the podcast. Do me a favor. If you listening via iHeartRadio, you know what I'm saying? If you're listening via YouTube, and more importantly, if you're listening via iPhone, you know, the podcast app on your iPhone, stop by, leave us a review. We are indeed trying to get our review numbers up so that we can enlarge our territory. The master can enlarge our territory, so we can definitely get more of this information out to more people. And I'm going to take this time, D, to highlight the listener of the week. And that is none other than Brian K. Thomas. And he
Okay.
says that these brothers are dedicated to understanding the paradigms of marriage, family, and manhood. How does it all intersect? Spank or not to spank? How do I handle temptation? It is all discussed here. And you know what? Marriage ain't for suckers. Signed by the one and only Brian Keith Thomas. Yep.
Good
And
stuff.
so, yeah, man, I just wanted to highlight him and thank him for leaving us a review. And like, for real, if you want to become the listener of the week, all you got to do is stop by the iPhone app, the podcast app, leave us a review there. Stop by iHeartRadio, leave us a review there, or whatever platform you use to listen to the Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast.
Good stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's pull that camera in. Pull the camera in. Pull the camera in. Right here. I'm saying right here. Look right here. All right. I think today's program is brought to you by Audible. Get your free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/marriage. With more than 180,000 titles from which to choose for your Android, iPhone, or Kindle. Wait a minute. Let's not leave out the other MP3 players. And this week, I'm not recommending, again, you go out there, right? You get that free trial, the free download. And I need you to recommend something for us. Like, I'm giving them chances, Quest. I don't know what happened.
Yep.
But the people just don't want to recommend nothing for me, Quest.
I tell you what, let me put it out there then, D. When you go to leave the review, also put in the review, here's a dope book to recommend. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because it's all out there, man. Everything you like and don't like is out there, man. I'm a heavy Audible listener, bro. Heavy.
Here's the funny thing, D. I'm actually about to read a book. I want to say that it's on Audible, but it's written by a divorce attorney. And for the most part, it's dope. He's speaking from the place of a lawyer, but the principles in there are wonderful. Yeah.
Talking about my homie, Salam?
I'm going to tell you the name of the book. I forgot his name, but the name of the
Phillips, book, man. He didn't do the audio yet. Salam Phillips.
Is it the one that he talks about? If you're in my office, it's already too late.
Oh, well,
okay.
Maybe it's two. I don't know. It's Colored Water. Is it Colored Water or is it a different one?
It's a different one. It's a different one. Okay. But I'm telling you, bananas. He talks about some principles in there. And of course, it's from, it's a secular perspective, but dope nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? He says he has like for real, a unique perspective. And it's funny because it's coming from a divorce lawyer. So that's what makes it more. He says some of the conversations that they have, you can lie to your therapist. You can lie to a marriage coach, but who you can't lie to is an attorney, especially representing you in the courtroom. It would, you can cause yourself more damage than you don't want to lie to him. You don't want to do that. And so he has a dope perspective, but he talks about how to keep your marriage together and avoid you going to the divorce court. So, if you're in my office, it's already too late. Yep.
True indeed. Yep. Well, that's what along the lines of what we're talking about today, in a sense. Yeah. In a sense. So what are we talking about, homeboy?
I believe that the topic that you chose for today is insanity. Yeah, I believe you said it. Insanity avoided by changing your marriage paradigm. I'm gonna say it one more time.
Insanity.
I just want to make sure that everybody got it. Insanity avoided by changing your marriage paradigm. And here's the funny thing, D. We know what the definition of insanity is, right?
Yeah.
It is and you're a psych dude, so we're going to go into a little bit of the psych stuff today. So, right? So it is the doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different result. So I know that
within me, Quest.
Yeah, I feel it. So there are some things that some of us are doing in our marriage relationship, D. And why we do it can be a number of different reasons. It could be something that stems from our upbringing. We could have suffered a traumatic situation, PTSD, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there are a number of different reasons. But I think the one thing that is in the forefront is that you realize that it's not working, that thing that you're doing, and you're doing it over and over and over again. I find it interesting, D, because we can talk about it a little bit and we can go into the psych side a little bit of it. I was having a discussion this morning with my accountability partners. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I suggest when I'm coaching couples is that if it gets too deep to the point where I see it's some deep-rooted stuff, at that point, I got to pull back now. And I have to say, okay, this is above my pay grade. What I want you to do is to, you and your spouse, or maybe it might be just you, look for 3 to 5, 5 to 10, however long you want your list to be. I just usually recommend 3 to 5 therapists. And most therapists will offer you a free consultation as to what they can offer you in terms of what it is that you're dealing with. Find one that you're comfortable with and start seeing a therapist as it relates to what you're facing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, and I don't know what that is within our community. You know what I mean when I say our community?
Our community, yeah.
We look at having to see a therapist or a psychologist. It's kind of like a taboo topic, if you will. Mm-hmm. And you can address that if you want to. But what I've come to realize is that if I'm dealing with a particular situation and for whatever reason, I can't come to any solution or resolve, it's time for me to either find a list of people on my own or call a couple of people that I know who I trust and say, listen, I need a couple references as it relates to a therapist. And I need to go to that therapist and I need to get worked out, whatever I need to get worked out. As a matter of fact, D, I would recommend on an individual basis that you go and see a therapist at least once a year. Stuff happens through the year. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you might be dealing with stuff and you don't even know if you're dealing with, we have a way sometimes, D, when we dealing with stuff, and this, I guess, is the psych part. You put up your defense mechanism automatically goes up sometimes, and you compartmentalize the stuff that's going on. And you put it in this little box and you put it towards the back of your brain or wherever you put it. And then the right trigger comes along and you blow up out of nowhere and you're wondering why you blow it up. And you don't really understand the depth to it until after the calamity has happened. Just speak to it a little, D.
Yeah, I just want to keep it real simple today. We like a well-worn grass path or lack of grass path. Mm-hmm. They used to put the signs up when we were young, don't walk on the grass. I'm like, what's it for? But if they were trying to keep the lawn looking manicured, they didn't want you walking on it, because if that part of the grass was the shortest distance between two points, mm-hmm. then at some point that part of the grass wouldn't exist anymore, because it has this sort of pathway. Mm-hmm. And our minds work very similarly in that, cognitive science says that, that doing good things or bad things mm-hmm. is like a well-worn pathway. And the deeper it gets, the easier it gets to go into that rut. And so whether good for good or for ill, but in our case, what we're talking about here is where people are making the same type of poor decisions mm-hmm. over and over and over again. And it's almost like training. We know a lot of people in federal agencies and other law enforcement. And one of the things that if they're catering or keeping with their training, mm-hmm. there are certain mistakes that they just won't make, because under pressure, if you're either going to resort to training or you're going to resort to what's natural or whatever habit you formed growing up. Mm-hmm. And usually the two last ones aren't good options. And so that's what it is. We just sort of move to what we've given more work to, more attention to.
Absolutely.
And that don't work when it's a bad idea, when it's bad stuff, bro.
In other words, what I hear you saying, and it just might be me, D, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who are entering into dating
and
into courting and into marriage who do not possess the proper training, if you will, as it relates to having because here's the thing. Every time that we do a seminar or a workshop, one of the first questions that I ask is, I'm giving away $1 million to anybody who wants to jump out of the plane without a parachute. And everybody's like, nope, not me. I'm not doing that.
People don't think, man.
And they don't, but once again, back to training, critical thinking. Like if you don't have critical thinking, then you can't possibly think about all the different, dimensions. But it really it's done on purpose to set people up so that they can say no and then say, okay, there are always one or two in the audience who say, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And then when I say, okay, well, then you lost out on $1 million. They're like, how? How am I going to enjoy it if I'm dead? Well, I'm saying, how can you be dead if the plane is on the ground? Right. And then I go forward into telling them that if I gave you that information prior to making the decision, everybody would have been like, yes. What am I saying? Information changes situations, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, let me not say that. I'm into the habit now of saying information applied changes situations.
Right.
Now,
that's wisdom.
In connection with what you were just saying, there are people who are moving into relationship, moving into dating and courting and eventually marriage, who are making a decision that because I'm in a relationship, automatically I should move to not doing the proper homework. And the same mistakes that you made in friendship, you are making now in dating, you are now making in courting. And now those things, now that you've moved into marriage, those same mistakes that were cute back then now become magnified. And you're sitting back wondering, well, how did I end up in divorce? Because you made a decision not having the proper information to make that decision. And you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting to get a different result. What I'm realizing as it relates to the topic that we're discussing today is that if people would do a little bit more self-assessment, I made a post today, and in that post, I was saying that there are two major enemies to marriage. One is the inability to admit when you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And number two is the inability to say, I'm sorry. What do those things stem from? They stem from a lack of self-assessment, right? Now, if I self-assess and I understand who I am and know who I am and intimate with who I am and realize that I need to make some adjustments, chances are that I won't really operate in insanity, if you will. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's true. And now I'm on board with you because you often talk about maturity as sort of an answer to almost everything, right?
Yep.
And sometimes I'm like, it's not that I disagree with you, but I'm like, isn't there more? But this is like the perfect case because I'm talking about cognitively and developmentally. Mm-hmm. Toddlers are not able cognitively to see how others fit into the world paradigm, except to serve them, really. Naturally. It's just the way it is, bro. Mm-hmm. And that's actually a higher order of operation that comes from an adult brain. Mm-hmm. Children of that age group think the world literally revolves around them, bro. Mm-hmm. And so if you drag that mindset into how you're to address things that matter in marriage, here's an example like that most people can relate to. Like this is why diets don't work and can't work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why you can't just generally will yourself to be over addictions. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you have been so accustomed to catering to yourself that it takes catering to yourself, but not with a healthy mindset, that it takes way too much energy to fight against that pathway, fight against those old habits, fight against whatever it is that drives those habits. Now we're talking about older people here.
Absolutely.
And people are just not up for it. They're just like, forget work. I don't got time for work, bro. I don't have time for work. I'm gonna just act like it ain't there, man. I'm gonna ignore that big old pink elephant.
Yeah,
that's sitting on my chest now.
Oh man. So D, I'd like to just, if we can, speak to a couple of things or a couple of scenarios that some of us have been operating in.
Yeah.
One of my authorities on relationship, if you will, is Dr. John Gottman. I love that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Older gentleman, 20 years of research, empirical, statistical. I mean, like he's got the stats, you know what I'm saying? 20,000 couples over the last 20 years, probably more. And there's 4 things that he refers to as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And what I've realized is that a lot of us are operating, and I even found myself operating in them from time to time. And we do it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And we want something different. Let me tell you, some of us want the end goal, but we keep operating in these different paradigms that are counterproductive to the end goal that we want. Like for real, you want life. You want life and joy and peace. And notice I said joy and not happiness. And I believe that there's a difference in between the two.
Yeah, true.
But we want all of those things, right? But what we do in terms of our behavior that we keep doing over and over again is counterproductive to what we want in the end goal, right? So the 4 things, and I think we've discussed them before, is the criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. My wife told me one time, and I'm going to be transparent. My wife told me one time that sometimes when we enter into this place of when we're dealing with difficult issues, and she has, we've have our discussions in terms of pointing out my stuff. Like she said that there has been times where you become defensive over the stuff that I've told you. That there's and really and truly, what I've realized is that it happens a little bit with all of us, because we don't want to know that we're not doing a good job. But the truth is the truth. This is the reason why I say when you live in the truth, you can create history. You can make the necessary adjustments when you embrace the truth. There are times when we're not performing at our best. And that's what your spouse is there to do, to cut, shape, mold according to, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I always tell people, if you don't want to be cut, shape, or molded, then do me a favor, don't get married.
Don't do it. Yep. Yeah, don't do it. Save everybody else a headache.
That's what I'm saying. So when we operate in those areas, she's told me in the past that you've become defensive. And when you become defensive, what ends up happening is when I point stuff out to you, in your defensiveness, you begin to stonewall. So a day may go by, and that breeds a certain level of tension. Because I'm a flamingo. I love to talk to people, and this is the characteristics that you'll always see in terms of Quest. So if anything changes from this, who you're seeing now, you're going to feel it.
Everybody knows, yeah.
Because you know it. It's like a switch that turns off. So the weight of that she feels, right? How can I expect to get all of the things in terms of the outcome if I continue to operate in defensiveness and all? Because whether we realize it, it's the two that become one flesh, but we can't become one flesh if I cause you to have a feeling that is not reflective of oneness.
Right.
My stonewalling or that weight of tension puts a wedge in between us, and that's how the enemy acts. It's funny that before you get into relationship, or before you get into marriage, I should say, he wants you to get together, you know what I'm saying? Do the fornication thing. Ahead of the
curve, yeah.
And then once you get married, he wants to play the wedge to keep you two apart.
Right, got it backwards.
Yep, exactly. It's an interesting dynamic. And sometimes we assist him in making that happen. And one of the ways that we do it is we operate in the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, or stonewalling. And what I've realized is that what you talked about in terms of changing the dynamic or shifting the paradigm is when I embrace the truth, D, and I say, I am that. I apologize. Can we work together against the problem and not each other?
Yeah, think about violence, because there's a lot of violence going on in marriages, and a lot of people don't understand. If you sort of have a snapshot in your mind of what violence is, it's messy. It's visually a mess, right? I don't have to describe what sort of mind picture that most of us would have. But when
Mm-hmm.
you think about a toddler, I'm back on that again, Quest.
Mm-hmm.
You think about a little child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the child is violent in the household, it's mommy, daddy, and one little child, baby child, 6 years
Mm-hmm.
old, 5 years old, 4 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
That picture of violence may not be the same because you're like, well, what kind of mess can this little person make? Like, can they really hurt me? Can they really make a mess like a grown person would? But we're talking about an atmospheric change. We're talking about the impact that that behavior of kicking, maybe stomping, maybe screaming, maybe spitting, maybe, I refuse to do what mommy or daddy says because I'm not getting my way. When it's time to go to bed, I'm gonna drag y'all out till 10 o'clock because I'm not happy. And I know I should have
Absolutely.
been to bed at 7:30, but I don't really care about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what people with toddler mindsets sets do in our marriage, except we have that plus
Mm-hmm.
whatever that mind picture of violence would be,
Yes, sir.
where you really do literally make a mess in your marriage, where sometimes you get, you do enough of that sort of precursor stuff and you end up literally boxing or literally shutting someone out, your spouse out emotionally, or literally holding the money or the sex hostage,
Mm-hmm.
or literally deliberately sort of scheduling time away from your spouse when usually you would have been together, or staying at work too late just to get away from one another. And so these sort of abusive, violent tendencies get bigger and bigger until poof, you end up on the news.
Yo, D,
Did I say a lot?
no, I promise you, it might be a couple of people getting stung by what you said. Because here's what I've also realized, that same thing that you're talking about, because sometimes we can be functioning addicts, if you will.
Yeah, no doubt.
And there are times that point out to you that, okay, I might need to see a therapist behind this, right? But what ends up happening is because of our culture and the taboo of seeing a therapist in what we do, some of us may say, nah, I'm okay. And then one incident happens. And because of the long time that happens, a month, 2 months between the first incident and the second incident, you think you're okay. But what happened is that thing that you need help with lays dormant until the trigger happens. You realize that you can't handle the trigger, and the trigger causes you to operate that monster. During those in-between times, the monster is laying dormant, but he's getting worse and worse and worse until the second or third trigger. And what ends up happening is you either get arrested, police are called to the house, or even worse, somebody dies because you lost control and you didn't get help with what you needed help with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, for real, the news, if you want to see evidence of that, just watch the daily news. You know what I'm saying? In terms of domestic situations, or like, for real, just Google stats on domestic situations. And a lot of the times what you'll find is that there was a need for help. And because people don't want to properly self-assess, they never went and got the help that they needed. It's funny to me, when something's wrong with your car, you call a mechanic to fix it, right? If something goes wrong with your microwave or your dishwasher, or something goes wrong with your plumbing at your kitchen sink, you'll call the plumber or somebody to come, Sears or whoever it is, to come and fix it. I want to ask us this one question. Why is it that when we're dealing with emotional or mental issues and we have enough presence of mind to say that something is wrong or realize that something is wrong, you won't go and get the help that you need to fix it? And I'm saying to you, just like any appliance or anything else that needs a specialist to fix it, if there's something wrong emotionally or mentally, realize that something is wrong and do me a favor, get the third party help and fix it.
Yeah. And think about it. We talk about triggers sort of flipply sometimes, but there's something called it's called a state dependent recall. And state dependent recall is something like what people would call a trigger. Like, so if in this certain circumstance, this is the way I feel. So I don't know, I stubbed my toe and it and because of the way I felt about that, it reminds me of this certain other time in my life. Anything that is similar to that incident or that state of mind or that state of circumstances will cause whatever that negative feeling to rise up to the surface. And so if, uh, my wife were to shout at me, not to say, hey, there's a car coming, but to say something bad to me, I am going to remember the times when I was a child and somebody else was shouting at me, and then something bad happened after the shouting. You hear what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
so I'm super extra oversimplifying. But the point is, at the moment that I feel a certain way, then I'm having tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And it takes either third party help or an extreme amount of maturity and third party help
Oh, come on, D.
to say this is not that. And if I keep entertaining sort of those thoughts and feelings and emotions under that pressure, and then now acting out in my marriage, who's insane in this house?
Oh, come on.
And think that, like, if I don't show and speak and manifest love to my wife,
Absolutely.
why would I expect that she's going to thrive and flourish? See, y'all thought I was going to say, why would she show me? Why would I expect she was going to show me? But why would I expect my wife to put on the happy face?
But here's the funny thing, D. If she shows it back to you, it's going to be a byproduct of her thriving. It's going to be a byproduct of her flourishing. This is the reason why I said to you before, like, when you get married, like, don't do it if you're not willing to be cut and shaped and formed, right?
Yeah.
People think that when you get married, it equates to happiness. That's not necessarily true. What I've realized about this thing called marriage is that it makes you whole, or holy, if you will. And the byproduct of wholeness or holiness, if you will, is happiness. You know what I'm saying? Because you're healthier, because you self-assess, because you do all of these different things that contribute to your growth in marriage and not your cutting down. And when you can properly handle a situation and walk away knowing, like, wow, I felt better being able to say sorry and admit I'm wrong. And so, like, for real, against that kind of stuff, I don't care what kind of weapons you come in with. There ain't no defense against that, bro. Nah. It ain't no defense there's no defense against true love. Like, you can't, when somebody can come to you and say, listen, I was wrong, I'm so sorry, and be detailed in why they're sorry.
Yeah. So we have to be true to ourselves, true to our spouses, like true to anybody involved, our children, if our children are involved, or if they're, feeling the burn, unfortunately. We don't tell them everything if they're small children, but there are times when our behavior or the essence or the aura of how we're behaving in the house is, like dragging them down. We have to come clean and be like, mommy and daddy, whatever, and keep it, age appropriate and their business appropriate. Don't tell them everything. But the point is, like, there are times when that atmosphere leaks out into everything and we have to correct it, bro. Unless we want to keep getting the same thing. That's the question. I mean,
just saying.
We wasted a lot of time, Quest. Maybe we should have just started out with, do you like what you're getting? If you like what you're getting, keep doing it. Keep doing your life the way it is. If you like how it is, then keep doing that.
Let me say this.
And the story, click, we're off.
In the immortal words of Diana Ross, do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that your marriage and life is showing you? And if you don't like it, then do something different. And if you can't do something different on your own, then doggone it, get the help necessary.
Are we talking about something complicated, Quest? Because I didn't hear in anything we said to grit your teeth, to somehow become a self-therapist or like a giant of marriage all of a sudden, and then muster up the energy to fix your own problem, like become a self-mechanic. Like, I didn't hear any of that, Quest. So why is it so complicated? It's a rhetorical question. Like, come on, get some help.
D, I've realized what causes people to not do it is a combination of selfishness, because you only like to see your perspective. And when you only look at things from your perspective, you're going to lose time and time again. That's number one. And number two is kind of like a combination between pride and non-compliance, if you will. And I think the non-compliance is a byproduct of the pride. You don't want to admit that you're wrong. You don't want to admit that you need help. but I've never seen anything done. No man is an island. No man.
Nah.
No man is an island. Everybody needs help at some point in time. The greatest of the greatest of the great, in no matter what you're trying to, whatever it is, whatever area, field, institution, the greatest of the great will tell you. And be transparent. I did not get here on my own. I saw this picture one time of a turtle sitting at the top of the fence, and the inscription read, "I didn't get here on my own."
As true as it gets, man.
As true as it gets. I ain't never met a turtle who could climb a fence yet. Yeah. And so I'm saying that same principle applies to any situation of life. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, you will not get there on your own. Look at the instant. I mean, as we discuss marriage, the Bible says, "For this reason shall a man leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." You're not going to become one flesh on your own, bro.
Nah, it can't happen.
You're not going to do it on your own.
No.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that we got a lot of soul searching to do. Not all of us are in the same situation. So, it doesn't have to feel heavy on all of y'all, because like for me, it's not heavy in my household, but there's always room for improvement. Like you say, what comes before phenomenal? Like,
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Great.
And so, there are things that we absolutely need to be doing every single day to improve our situations in marriage. For me, it's been almost 17 years. I'm not naive, because my parents divorced at 23. True, they were not doing well from the start. But the point is, I'm not naive enough to think that because you have a certain number of years and you're gone clear.
Yep.
But at the same time, I've been around a little bit in our marriage to know that we have to continue to work and do good work, man.
Absolutely.
And we'll reap the benefits, period.
Yep. I'm saying, man, we want phenomenal, and you ain't get into it for that. So yeah, man, stay focused, y'all.
Yep. All right, y'all. Peace. Yo, either you're listening to the audio broadcast, or your imagination is impeccable.
Oh yeah, I'm just imagining, because I hear it over. That's the tune that just, what I'm saying? I don't know how long we're gonna use it, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, I love that joint. Let me shout out a couple of people, man. I heard somebody say, I don't know if it looked like it's one of your brethren, D. Garfield Morrison. He said, my entire class is listening to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's teaching at a school or whatever, but shouts out to Garfield for allowing his entire class to listen to the joint, man. Yep. So let's shouts out a couple of our people as always, man. Thank you for listening once again this week. Shouts out to Nicole Davis. Let me tell you something about Nicole. For those of you who don't know, you know what I'm saying? Nicola's foundation. She's been listening to this podcast from day one. And I think we like 80 or 90 something episodes in already.
Before we were live in audio. Because we didn't start out live in audio. Now I remember. I totally forgot. Like we used to record it and then try to hurry up and get it up. Like,
oh man, we came a long way. You know what I'm saying? Even from them time there. You know what I'm saying? Nicole been rocking with us. As always, another, person who's been rocking with us for a long time, Frenchie. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Shouts out to Frenchie. You know what I'm saying? Indeed.
See Ali in the house, man.
Oh, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my cool breeze on a hot summer day. You know what I'm saying?
Not Ali. I said Ali, bro.
Yeah, I know. I heard you when you said Ali. I'm just saying.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't get the correct the thing crossed.
Oh yeah, nah. You know, she's in the building. So
Yeah,
I want to thank for her. And then Sasha came through. Shouts out,
of course.
you know what I'm saying, to my man Sasha. Who else? D. Who else was in
Yeah,
there?
we got DK
Yep.
and Isaiah.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And then Kyla Marie Sierra. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. You want to talk about a barber extraordinaire, D? You could
Oh, really?
appreciate her. Let me tell you something. You Jorge's wife, bro.
Oh, she got it like that. So it's two barbers in the
Yo,
house.
two barbers in the house,
Son nice, ain't he?
He's
Yeah.
nice, and she's a master barber.
Right.
And he said that, okay, yeah, Kyla might be nicer than me now. For that to come out of his mouth, that just lets you know, like her face, I seen her work. It's impeccable. So yeah, man, shouts out to Kayla, man. Shouts out to Kayla, man.
Good stuff.
Yep. And then,
Yeah.
of course, Ryan, man.
Oh yeah. He's one of my young homies from Trenchtown.
Yeah.
Ryan's in here, man. And Festus.
Yep.
Owen Brissett. What up?
And you said Ali, you were talking about Marcel?
Yeah.
That's my dude, man. Another dude who is like for real solid in the marriage game. He and his wife, man. Shouts out to them as well.
Yeah, man. Vivette.
Oh, yeah, that's from back in the day, kid.
Of course.
Yep. Janice came through. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't believe, man, your boy Oliver. I mean, not Oliver. Garfield said his class is listening. So yeah. Shouts out to Mr. Morrison's entire class.
Yes. Tell Mr. Morrison, come on my yard.
Tell him my yard.
Of course, you can't say that. You can't say that, Quay.
Yeah, I can't because I'm not home.
That's all right. You'll visit.
Yeah, I'll visit on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and let me tell you something. Shouts out to my BU fam, Daniela. Yes. We met on the cruise. Her and her boyfriend. It was a lovely and privileged time to be able to spend with them on the cruise, and hopefully we'll see them in Jamaica next year. But yeah, man, shouts out to her as well. She came through.
Cool.
Yeah. Who else came through? A couple other people.
That's all I see today, Quest. Yeah. I'm not saying that's all there is. We said press already. Yeah. That's all I can see on my feed. Yeah. And sometimes when I hang up the feed, then they just be popping up, and I'm like, I missed it. So yeah, no disrespect. It's just sometimes we don't see them because they're not consistent. They don't show up all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, let's get this post-production on and push to all of the avenues. Remember, guys, to go buy your app. I don't care what you're listening via Google Play or you listening via the podcast app on your iPhone, iHeartRadio. Go by and leave us a review.
Please.
Enlarge the territory, man, and get this information out to a couple more people, man. Marriages are in trouble. And I can't see another one fail. At least one that I can reach out and touch in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
All right. Let's do this, Quest.
What happened to peace?